Hey guys, Sandy here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I am super excited. I am scrapbooking some Christmas. Now I realize that we still have other holidays to get through, but I'm one of those people that just loves me some Christmas. So I'm using this really fun stencil from Brutus Monroe. It's called All Wrapped Up. As you can see, there are varying versions of presents and tags and all kinds of things. So I'm really excited because I'm going to make little presents. And then I've also got some glitter glazes. Look at these gorgeous beauties. I have scarlet, navy, and emerald. I also pulled out the Slimline Rainbow Collection paper collection, also from Brutus Monroe. So I'm excited for that. I'm going to be scrapbooking this Christmas tree photo from Vegas, and I've got some paper from my stash, so let's see what I can do. Alright guys, so I'm going to start out by getting the base of my layout ready to go. So I have 2 sheets of paper from my stash. I trimmed down one so that I would have that diagonal border around the outside of it. And then I pulled out the Rainbow Slimline paper pack from Brutus Monroe, and I decided to take just a couple of those papers because I thought that they would be a really good match for my photo and for what I have planned. So I am using this stencil right here, and it is super cool because there are varying designs that you can use to build your own gift package. Now I am just using some red, green, and blue ink, and I am not even really adding any ink to my blending brush. My blending brushes are kind of color coordinated, I guess. So I have one just for green, one just for blue, one just for red, one just for pink, one just for orange, and so forth. So doing that, I don't really do a whole heck of a lot of cleaning on them, and what happens is I actually end up having enough ink on the brush to do what I need to do. So I am going to go ahead and do some in red, some in blue, and some in green, as I said. And I'm not really concerned about the stenciling that is going around the edges because I am going to trim these packages down. Now I decided to take some Scarlet Glitter Glaze with the striped stencil, and now I've got these beautiful red stripes over top of my red inked package. So I'm going to keep doing that and putting it off to the side so that it can dry. And again, I'm not worried about the glitter glaze going through the other portions of the stencil because I will trim down the packages when I am finished. Do have to go clean off that bit of glitter glaze, and then instead of the stripes, I do the polka dots on the green, and then I am going to do the little diamonds here on top of the blue ones. I decided to go with the diamonds instead of the stripy kind of starburst thing over there down on the right hand side. I just felt like the blue needed this kind of sparkle instead of a burst. I can't explain it, but it made sense to me in my head when I was creating this layout, so that's what we went with. So I went ahead and grabbed some more papers from my stash. The one green paper, the green and red striped paper is from a Christmas paper pack from Brutus Monroe from last year. So if you are lucky enough to have that still in your stash, you could use the same paper. Now I decided to take apart the background of my layout because I felt like I needed a little bit more sparkle and shine. There wasn't enough shining, shimmering, splendid going on in this layout, so I used my embossing ink pad and inked around the edges of the paper, and then I dipped those edges of the paper into some sterling embossing powder. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous silver color. And then I'm using my heat tool until the magic happens and it's all smooth and melty. So I love embossing. It is just one of my favorite techniques, and I probably don't do it enough to justify how much I love it, but I love it. It's magic, guys. It is straight up magic. Now, since I am using funky size papers, and by funky size I mean 6x6 and also slimline card size, I do have to kind of tape my 6x6 paper together, and then I'm going to have a join mark that will be covered up. Now again, I needed some more Shining Shimmering Splendid in my life, so not only am I going to emboss the background of the paper, I am also going to go ahead and do that with the paper layers that I will be layering my presents on. Now, to me, this is just perfect because it's Christmas, and Christmas is all the glitter and all the shine and all the everything, right? Um, Fun fact, we are decorating for Christmas at this moment, and I'm just so happy, you guys. Got another tree, so that is even more exciting. So I am going to be able to make a whole lot of use out of this stencil because it's going to be perfect, just perfect for documenting all of my trees. So now I take some gunmetal, I believe this one is gunmetal, glitter glaze, and I am placing the actual bow over top of the presents and going to go ahead and get that on there. Now, it's not giving me as much definition as I would like, and that's okay because I am going to do something to go ahead and give me a little bit more definition. So I tried different techniques of putting my glitter glaze through this stencil, like going in one direction, going in multiple directions, putting a little bit on, putting a lot on. I was just kind of struggling with it a little bit. So I decided to try a different glitter glaze and to see if that would give me a little better definition for the bow. What's happening, I think, is the glitter glaze is not as opaque as some of the other glitter glazes. Like the red is pretty opaque, the green is pretty opaque. So is the blue. But I think that must have been... What glitter glaze was I using? I'm not sure which glitter glaze I was using. But what I decide to do is take my Raven Detail ink and ink over top of the bow. So what that does is basically it darkens all of that glitter glaze. And there's still some sparkle and shine underneath of the bow, but now I've got a little bit more definition, and I like the little bit more definition. So as you can see, what I am doing, that blue one up at the top is when the package is all trimmed down. So that is going to happen on every single one of these presents. So I'm going to put that to the side, and I'm just going to trim them down with scissors. I'm not going to bother with a guillotine trimmer or anything like that. This is really, really simple, straight lined cuts that I can do with one closing of the scissors. So it's nothing to fussy cut. Like this, I would even call this fussy cutting, guys. So you could say that you fussy cut a whole lot on this layout if you create the presents and pop them on the layout like I'm going to do. It might be a way to get people to hush if they are saying, oh, you should fussy cut that, you should fussy cut that, and you're not a fussy cutter. This might be the way to do it, guys. All right, so I am going to build up my layers with the papers that I had embossed previously. And I decide to put the black one on the bottom so it has the least amount of color popping through. And that is on purpose. I don't want the black to become too overbearing on this layout. I want the packages to really look like they are piled up and popping out and ready to be torn into. So I do get my title on first, and I'm just pulling some things from my stash. So it says celebrate the holiday. And now I am going to build my present pile around that title. Now, some of these presents I am going to put on some pop foam. Some of them I'm going to leave flat. What that's going to do is give me a little bit of dimension on my page. And then as you can see, some of the presents are going to go off the edge of the page as well. And I just go ahead and cut the overlapping presents off. So I have this nice thick line of presents, and then I decide that I need some more on my present pile because, you know, piles of presents underneath of Christmas trees need to be heaping. And I felt like this needed to be heaping as well, especially since this is a Vegas Christmas tree. All right, guys, be sure to check out the links down below so you can see these awesome products. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys again real soon for another video.